I'm DG Ice, and this is Turbo Lugia Unlimited. This is level 0 of Unlimited. This is saying to your opponent, you have 3 turns before I beat you, just try and stop me. This deck is the reason why cards like Silver Mirror, Pyroar, Loss Remover, and Garbodor need to exist. To summarize how this deck works, Plasma Lugia Ex has a Plasma Gale attack that does 120 damage for 4 colorless energy. It requires at least one of them to be a Plasma energy so you can discard it. So all you gotta do is attach a DCE and then play Colress machine twice and you're fully powered up. The next step is to get that 120 up to 180 damage. So put 4 Deoxys EX on the bench. They'll each boost it by 10 power. And then play 1 muscle band. There you go. You got 120 plus 20. That's 40 plus another 40 from the Deoxys. That's 180 damage. And you can start powering that up on the first turn. Plasma Lugia also has an ability called Overflow, which says that whenever you knock out an opponent's Pokemon with it, you take an extra prize card. So not only are you knocking out your opponent's Pokemon in one hit, you're taking an extra prize off of it, meaning you cut your game time in half for decks that only play regular Pokemon, and you only have to knock out 2 Pokemon for decks that play lots of EXs. So more about the deck. This is one of the few decks you're still going to want to play plus power in. Because if you were to play Hypnotoxic Laser here, and it was what dealt the last damage to your opponent, you wouldn't get the trigger off of Lugia's Overflow ability. I mean, you wouldn't get the extra prize. This is important because sometimes your last Deoxys or 2 are prized and you need to be able to do that extra damage. This also helps if your opponent for some reason has more than 180 HP because you can always junk arm the plus powers back to use them a few times. So after you've got all your Lugias and your Plasma Balls and your Deoxyses, the energies, and the muscle bands, you have to ask yourself how you want to deal with people playing all the hate cards, all the Silver Mirrors, all the Suicunes, Pyroars, Garbodors. And for me, the answer was to just play one answer to each of them. I play one 1/1 line of Ursuring teddiursa. I play one Startling megaphone, and I play one Pokemon catcher. I can junk arm the items back and reuse them if I need to. And I really just need one way to beat these decks because you pretty much know that they have these after the first turn. And usually it takes them a while to set them up, and you only really have to knock out one Pokemon after they're set up. That said, I also am not going to bother trying to destroy each one of those decks. It's not worth it. There's not enough space in the deck to do that. The way I actually lose with this deck most times is that I run out of cards because my opponent's forcing me to use more resources than I have left in my deck, which is why I'm so excited for Lysandre's Last Resort. It's really going to change the way this deck plays. Sadly, it'll force me to change the way I use random receivers, but it'll also let me use Professor Juniper's more carelessly, so I really can't wait. Lysandre's Last Resort is also going to make the card Loss Remover more relevant because putting the special energy in the remove from play in the loss zone will mean that it doesn't get shuffled back in when you play Lysandre's Last Resort. Additionally, when using Loss Remover, you need to target the Plasma energies and not the double colorless energies. The double colorless energies can be replaced with other DCs or with psychic energies, but the Plasma energies cannot be replaced. You need at least one of them to activate both Lugia's attack and Deoxys' attack. Without them, the deck doesn't work, and there's a limited number of them, and you have to discard one every time you attack with Lugia. This fact that people have gone after the double colorlesses almost every time is probably one of the reasons I've been able to win against decks that use energy discard. You'll note during that first game, my opponent only had 3 turns. In this game, they only take 1 turn before I beat them because they obviously only play 1 Pokemon, and you can set up your Lugia on the first turn to take them out. They are able to evolve due to Eevee's special ability there. That's what confused me at first about this game. So how does this deck do against real decks? Well, if they have a really slow setup or they stumble in the early turns, you're still going to blow them out of the water. But if they have a good deck and a good hand, there's not much you can do. You're at a huge disadvantage and you're in for a real battle that game. Smeargle works okay in this deck because I'm using 4 switches to get around status effects instead of playing some kind of prevention or healer, which allows Smeargle to switch back and forth. This is also supported by the amount of junk arms I play. In the rest of the videos in this playlist, I'll be displaying the strengths of some of the top contenders for Unlimited and discussing their weaknesses. Here's the link for the playlist in case you aren't in it, and the deck lists are below in the description. Alright,